Hi everyone, welcome to this yin practice. Today's practice, all of the poses are poses that are designed to help us find a little bit of balance with the feelings of both fear and courage. So all of us lie along, I guess, a spectrum, and that spectrum is constantly changing as to how much courage we have and how much fear we constantly have as well. So perhaps whatever it is, wherever it is on that spectrum that you are at right now, maybe we can just work with this in this practice. So we're going to start with the legs crossed. And I'm sitting on a block at the moment. You can, like me, have a blanket around you. Yin can be a practice where the body gets really cold. So if you know that you're quite a cold person, a blanket will be really nice. And take one heel just in front of the other heel. If you need any cushions underneath your knees, underneath your legs, then please do that. And then when you get into place, just close your eyes. Start to deepen your breath, sitting up tall whilst you're here. And as we start this practice, I invite you to just explore for a moment anything that you're currently fearing. And anything that you currently feel courageous about. And let us not judge fear as bad and courage as good. Courage can be bad, fear can be good. What we're looking for is somewhere in the middle of the two. Taking a few more deep breaths here, and then we're just going to swap the crossing of the ankles. So you can do that anytime, so that whichever foot is in front is going to go behind. You can open your eyes to do that if you need to, or you can try to do this with your eyes closed. There might be no difference. There might be a big difference in how this feels for you. And then let's just return to the breath. Whilst you're here, see if you can keep your spine upright, if you can still feel like you're tall, but allow a lot of the tissues of your body to soften. If your mind wanders away in this practice, bring it back to your breath or your body. or the theme of the practice, which is fear and courage. And then we're very slowly going to move out of sitting cross-legged. So I invite you to keep your eyes closed and to maybe use your hands on the knees to bring them up. Soles of the feet can come onto the floor. And just take a moment to sit with the knees up, maybe just hug around the knees in some way. Maybe have a wiggle side to side, massage any areas of the body or move any areas of the body that feel like they need your attention. And just super slowly we're going to move into pigeon pose as our next pose. So I'm going to demonstrate a couple of ways that you can set this up, but if you know what you're doing, just go ahead. And again, I invite that you are covered by a blanket unless you're really warm. It helps as well to let us feel grounded, to have that extra weight on the body. So I'm going to take my left knee forwards first. My right leg is going to push straight back behind me. I'll move my blanket so you can see. Although I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with pigeon. And in yin, we want to feel supported, so if you haven't got a bolster, just grab some more cushions, pillows, a blanket, whatever you want, and you can bring the bolster out in front of you. And as we've got the left knee forwards, we can take the right ear down. We're going to hold it like this. So take your time to settle into it, make little adjustments. And again, if you get into the pose and if you're not too warm, see if you can have the body covered with a blanket at the same time. We're going to be spending 4 minutes here, but starting the timer now. If you need to come out earlier, or if you want to come out earlier, then do. That's really the true practice, is that you're just paying attention to your own body and a bit less to how it feels for my body. The first 30 seconds of the pose can be fidgeting, can be getting into the place where you know you'll be okay. take a moment in this pose to see how you feel emotionally. Okay, if you've not already come out of your pose, take some time now to move slowly. And I recommend coming to a tabletop or a downwards facing dog, or even a brief moment in child's pose, or any other movement that your body is calling for. Just have a little bit of movement, a bit of a stretch. Whenever you're ready, you might be ready now, or you might take a few more moments to stretch. We're going to set this up on the second side. So this time it will be the right leg forwards, unless you did the right leg before. Right leg is forward and left leg is back. You can have your blanket over you. The knee sticks just out at a diagonal. You can use any padding under the knees, under the legs. Remember, if this is horrible for you, then you don't need to do this. This time we're going to take the left ear down, right over it. And you're just going to lean onto your bolster or your pile of cushions. We'll reset our timer. Take 30 seconds to fidget. Takes a little bit of time to find a place where you feel like you're going to be able to be still. Keep taking some deep breaths. Keep letting the body be passive. starting to think about moving out to pigeon. And then take some time to move like we did before. Maybe it's down dog, maybe it's the tabletop. Maybe you're going to stretch out the right leg behind you. Move into the areas that feel like they're a bit stiff. And now we're going to come into child's pose. So keep whatever you were using for pigeon pose, that will be useful for child's pose. And for child's pose, you can have knees quite close, you can have them a little bit wider apart. And the big toes are probably touching. Again, a blanket is quite nice here. And we're just going to lean the upper body forwards onto this bolster. So the big toes touch, knees are wide. We're going to be taking 2 minutes with the right ear on the bolster, 2 minutes with the left ear on the bolster, so we change the neck halfway through. So setting off the timer, take your right ear onto the bolster. And just settle in. Adjust whatever you need to adjust. Whilst we're here, check in with any feelings of fear, of courage, of how these poses make you feel. See if you can keep your eyes closed. And very, very gently turn your head. So we take the left ear down, the right ear up. start to slowly come out of your child's pose. And again, just move around in any way that you need to. And then our final pose before our Shavasana is just to have our legs elevated. So we can come to lie on your back. And I like to do this with some support under my lower back. So you might push into a bridge, slide a cushion or two under the bum and the low back. Adjust a little bit, find a place that feels good. Legs up, knees, as you can see, they can be really bent, they don't have to be straight at all. As long as the lower back feels like it's supported, so you might need to adjust. And then again, you may wish to bring your blanket back over the top part of your body. So there's a little bit of effort here to this pose just to keep the legs up. Just let them feel almost like they're floating up in the air. And then let your eyes close. We're not going to be in this pose for too long. This will lead us straight into Shavasana. Perhaps in this pose you can visualize that almost any stagnant energy is draining now. It's coming from your feet all the way up the legs, up through the torso and out the crown of the head. So you can stay here for longer if you want to, or you can start to slowly bend the knees. And if you've got cushions, a cushion under your lower back, you can push it away from you, maybe now taking it underneath your knees as you extend the legs. Let's find our way into Shavasana. Come to lie on your back, maybe with cushions under the knees, maybe with a blanket over you. Take a final moment in your Shavasana now to reflect on fear and courage and whatever that means to you and wherever you are on that spectrum. And I'm going to leave you here in Shavasana, so take as long as you need. Maybe even stop the video so you're not distracted. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.